Kayak Adventure Day. The boat's called the Otter from Old Town Canoes. It's 9.5 feet long, 40 pounds. It's supposed to hold 240 pounds. I think I'm just a little bit over. But it is good for maneuverability. It doesn't track all that well. It could use a skeg. The single most important bit of gear that I've got is my life vest. I've been in the water for 30 minutes after all my strength was spent, and this is what kept me from drowning. There's nothing macho about being stupid. You've got to take the precaution and use safety equipment, because currents can take you down, and you've got your loved ones to think about. Maybe a little bit of inconvenience and discomfort, but this thing saved my life, praise God. Well, back over there is the shore that I left. Traveled across from Goat Creek over to this little island. It's a spoil island that's created by the Army Corps of Engineers when they dredged out the channel of the Indian River in order to make way for larger boat traffic. Over here we've got some railroad vine, and it's called railroad vine because it just runs down like right across the sand. Let's see, pan out here a little bit, but it just keeps going and going, and it runs just above the ground rather than right on it, so that it survives like on the sand dunes, the hot sand, and keeps the vine thriving. But this helps to prevent dune erosion. Very important Florida plant for our coastlines, and very attractive. It's in the morning glory family. Without plants like that, well, you can see the basic dune erosion that takes place, that something needs to keep the soil intact, otherwise it just washes back into the river. You can see from these trees that have fallen over that these islands aren't fixed, that they're probably the material, the sand and so forth, is eroding away from one, let's say the south side of the island, and depositing on the north side. And so, you got trees with shallow roots that fall over, and just nature's constant change. And of course, mankind, when we build condos and so forth, we expect it to stay static, but the coastline and islands, they all move, and that's a part of nature, and we need to respect that or be constantly fighting a losing battle. I'm afraid nature will win. Well, maybe that's a good thing, because God rules nature. Found something here. Let's see if you can catch this. This is the seed pod of the coin plant, which, by golly, Dad was wrong. Money does grow on trees. Man, it has been too long since I've been out enjoying nature. This is just lovely. I can't express enough how fantastic it is to just enjoy something natural and scenic and uncomplicated. I spend my days in front of a computer and dealing with high technology. This recharges my battery. It rejuvenates my spirit as I walk and I talk to God and fellowship in the nature He created. I don't worship that nature, but I worship the one who created it. To Him be glory forever. Here's another little fire pit. At least people are being careful so they don't torch the whole island. But you see that we've got that erosion taking place all along the edge. We got a little bit of shade from a nice, I think it's a Australian pine, and Australian pines aren't indigenous, but what I've learned on drift seeds is plants move. They may move a lot slower than they have in the 20 and 21st century, like through people taking their favorite potted plants around, but ocean currents move seed pods all over the place. They're known as sea beans, and I've even found a bat-pollinated mucuna from Central America all the way up here in the Indian River in Goat Creek, which means it crossed thousands of miles of ocean in order to get here. So while we don't want to contaminate nature by artificially moving plants from one bit of geography to the next, you know, it's part of God's design that things do gradually move and that things recirculate and that some species rise and some fall. And, you know, even mankind, we may not dominate this planet forever. Who knows? You got to trust in the Lord and accept what comes from His hand. My beloved kayak. It's been too long. It's been about 2 months since I've had it in the water, so this is good. The water has to be calm. If there's any white caps at all, I'll spend more time in the Indian River than here. And this particular island has some sandbars that really stir up and create some turbulence, and so I've often encountered some real difficulty getting here, even though it's not all that far out there. It's a challenge that most of the time I'm in little creeks and so forth, like Turkey Creek and Goat Creek, but I love these spoil islands. They call to me every time I drive up and down US 1, and this is where I just like to be. I'm out here in the water, and normally I wouldn't do this with my camera, but it's so nice and clear, I've got to just get a view of that island I just left. There's the island. I sure hope I make it to shore without dunking my camera. Well, I made it back. Oh, it was a blessing just to be in the great outdoors, to confront my fears. You know, I'm a little afraid of the water. Black, murky Indian River, most of the time you can't see the bottom. I've seen people catch sharks this big. There's sharks, probably bull sharks in there. There's alligators. There's all kinds of stuff. Mainly it's fear of the unknown. God saves some blessings and conceals them for those who go the distance, who overcome their fears, who go further than other people go, who dig deeper, who search harder. He said, search for me and you'll find me if you search for me with all your heart. That I'm rereading John Eldridge's book, Wild at Heart, for the 5th time. And he talks about a man's heart is being like an elk, a lost beast that's retreated to the mountain wilderness, and it's out of reach in remote, rugged country. And few men leave their couch potatoes, but few men seek the trail and stay the distance and find their heart. And instead they live a passionless existence. And while they're nice people, they're not whole people, because God made us to be men of passion, men who have an element of danger, who have a purpose in life, who have a mission, and that mission is to be the best father and husband and servant of Jesus Christ that we can be. And there's blessings out there, but you need to take some risk, and you need to go the distance and reach deep and strive for the abundant life that Jesus has called us to.